dinner when you were a boy?
Turkey and blazing pudding.
Was it nice?
It was not made on earth.
And did you have church bells too?
Oh yes, there were bells. And the fat, black, snow-white belfries tugged by bishops and storks. They rang their tidings over the bandaged town, over the frozen foam of white powder and ice cream hills, over the crackling sea. It seemed that all the churches boomed for joy under our window, and the weathercocks crowed for Christmas on our fence. You know, I can still smell that blazing pudding.
No, you can't. That's our blazing pudding.
yourself. Perfect rifle, I have a riddle for you. Thank you. Why is life like a riddle?
Nobody knows, Tutor. Why is life like a riddle?
Because you have to give it up in the end.
Tell you, Glenn, not just Welch crackers, they're bloody chapel crackers.
I will go and make a pot of tea.
I've got more wind in me than the month of March.
Hold on to it, Gwen. We don't want any.
Shooter, get up here.
What do you want of me?
Dylan, get the ball. It's rugby time. Come on, we'll get the finale pack. All right, scrub down, boys.
Come on, Dylan, I'll help you. We'll be done in no time. There you have it. There you have it.
So I went off to wash the dishes, while the uncles sat in the front of the fire, took off their collars, loosened all their buttons, put their large, moist hands over their watch chains, groaned a little, and slept. The cat was sick in the kitchen, and Auntie Bessie had to have 3 aspirins, but Auntie Hannah, who liked port, stood in the middle of the snow-bound backyard singing like a big-bosomed thrush. Later, the cousins and I blew up balloons to see how big they would blow up too, and when they burst, which they all did, the uncles jumped and rumbled. In the rich and heavy afternoon, I sat in the front room among festoons and Chinese lanterns, nibbled at dates, and tried to make a model battleship using the instructions for little engineers, and produced what might be mistaken for a seagoing trolley. And then Jack and Tom knocked at our window to call me out into the ear-pinching air.
Mom, can I go out to the seashore with Jack and Tom?
Of course, Dylan. But only if you take your cousins.
Oh, but Mom!
They're coming too.
You can follow us, I guess.
Dylan, you aren't going out without the present I made you. How could you?
Oh, but it's not that cold out, Auntie Bessie.
It is freezing. Put it on at once and say thank you. Oh.
PSA bicycle. 3-speed gear.
You never get away.
Boasting again. All you got for Christmas is a yellow bottle of coffee with the purple bottle on top.
All right, smart Alex. Just you wait and see.
You'd have brought it out if you had.
In this, you can barely stand up, let alone ride a bike. Just you wait and see, that's all.
Look at the footprints we're leaving. Deep as wells.
I bet people think they're big hippos.
What would you do if you saw a hippo coming down Terrace Road?
I go like this. Bang! And then I toss it over the railings and roll it down the hill. And then I tickle it under its ears and its wag its tail.
What would you do if you saw 2 hippos?
There aren't any hippos in Swansea.
I don't want to boast, but my father's the richest man in Swansea.
Well, my father's the richest man in Wales.
Well, my father owns the world.
My grandfather was a guard on the railway.
Really? You're not lying?
God's honor, bite on my tongue, spit it down the lab. My granddad was a railway guard.
Hey,
Okay, Okay, Dylan, you win. But one day, we'll all be famous.
famous railway guard?
Famous gangsters. Scarface Evans.
Babyface Dylan.
And we better learn to walk like gangsters, too.
How'd they walk?
Glancing from side to side with looks of ice. And they swagger a bit, Jack.
Your idea was swagger yourself.
All right, watch me. Watch how I swagger. You dirty rat. You dirty, stinking rat.
Hello? Hello? What you boys up to?
I'm just going down to the seashore, taking my little cousins for a walk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very tough, very tight. Have a good Christmas.
Not bad.
Not bad, eh? Get any good presents?
I got a bicycle. PSA 3-speed.
Did you now? Got a license for that bike?
A license?
Yeah, you know, like if you got a dog, you gotta get a dog license. Same is true with a bike.
That's not true.
Did I hear you say,
You didn't mean it, sir. It was a joke.
oh, a joke? Ha ha! Well, young man, don't let me catch you out riding that bike without a license. Merry Christmas, all!
Merry Christmas, Constable Lloyd Jones.
Easy to be cheeky behind a Bobby's back.
Glenda Jones, you have the face of a ferret and the heart of a black widow spider.
Dylan Thomas, you are all tongue and no teeth.
Dylan Thomas is a fool, thinks he's very clever, but he's bottom of the school, gets the worst marks ever. Da, na, 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 na.
And so we slipped and squabbled and crunched and punched our way down the sloping streets, down through the icicle-hard arch under the famous Mumbles Railway, the first passenger railway in the world. We climbed the humped sand dunes of the boroughs, treading on buried snow-covered grass like ghosts on dried toast. And then we spread our wings and flew down the far side of the dunes towards the white and wide seashore.
They've even frozen the sea.
Great lumps of sea. Like there was a great big house made of ice, and somebody broke it up into ice bricks.
Like someone tried to make a jigsaw puzzle out of ice.
Like you've been hailing frozen biscuit boxes.
Like the river is a glacier and these are its icebergs.
Hey, look, I have a good stone. Flat around.
Yeah, icebergs. What I wouldn't give to see one big iceberg.
And sail land with only a polar bear to keep you company.
Yeah, a great peaked iceberg with cliffs of white and emerald.
No, flat on top, but 9/10 of it hidden underneath the water.
And we can dig down into the 9/10 with ice axes and build a snow cavern.
An ice cavern, hundreds of yards wide.
We could build a billiards table and play billiards with the penguin's eggs.
Look, I'm eating snow pie.
What's it taste like?
Like snow pie.
Wonder if the fish can tell that it's snowing.
They think it's the sky falling down.
All the old dogs have gone.
All the old dogs we used to know. What are you doing, Tom?
Breaking the eggs in the rocks so the shrimp can breathe.
Oh, look, Tom. It's jewels. It's a whole world scattered with jewels.
I got a little crab, white and greeny.
Let's have a look. Hey, let's take him back, drop him down someone's neck.
Got nothing to keep him in.
Here. Here's this.
If only we had a big catapult.
What for?
You get those big chunks of ice and bombard the town hill boys. Wouldn't they be scared?
Great chunks of ice coming out of the sky.
Hey, Mom! It's hailing Frank! Hey, look, the train.
Hey, listen. I know what we can do with Glenda.
What's that, Mud?
Tie her to the railway tracks. Train comes along.
Stupid little Dustin!
Yeah, tie her up, man. Train's coming.
Feet over one rail, head over the other.
Got her, man. Train's getting nearer.
Stupid boy!
Train's nearly on her. Driver gears out. Through the freezing fog, can't see a thing.
When suddenly, a dark figure on horseback sweeps down through the fog, a knife between his teeth. Slash, slash at the ropes, and she's swept over the saddle bow. And the horse rears as the train thunders past. And then, in a single leap, he clears the dunes and gallops like the wind over the sands to the safety of Ostermouth Castle.
Thank you for saving my life, Dylan.
Oh, it wasn't me on that horse. It was the ogre of Ostermouth Castle.
So you're being eaten alive just for a moment, Glenda.
What an exciting life I lead.
I've been on a train once. I went to Bristol.
Did you ever come back?
Oh,
Ow!
Ow! Get down on the ground! Get down on your back! Boys, 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 making too much noise, boasting in the morning and boasting late at night. Boys, 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 think that girls are toys, picked up when they're needed, thrown down when they're not. Girls, 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 precious as pearls, cleverer and smarter, always end on top. Apologize to Brenda for outbeating your eyeballs to the signal!
Stupid girl, do. I'm gonna grease you, Brenda.
no, apologize to her, Jack. For Pete's sake, she's dangerous.
Okay, I'm fine. I'm sorry, Brenda.
Say, I'm sorry, Brenda. Please spit in my face.
I'm sorry, Brenda. Please spit in my face.
But I don't want to.
Oh, come on! Act!
Spit on yourself, Brenda.
Jack, I'll bring you forever! Wait for me!
Big shutter back. That'll teach you to spin.
One time, I dropped a big glob of ice cream down my Aunt Ellie bathing dress by mistake on purpose.
You didn't. Back or front.
Never you mind.
What'd you do then?
Squealed a bit and laughed a lot. And, oh, it was a hot, salty summer day.
Funny. It way in the winter how you can never remember what it's like in the summer.
Well, I can. I can remember the smells, the sea and seaweed and wet flesh, wet hair, wet bathing dresses.
The warm smell, like a gravity field after rain.
and the smell of lemon pop and salty sunshades and sandy toffee.
And hot, tossed, tumbled, and trodden sand.
And the smell of vinegar on freshly shelled cockles.
And the boats from a Sunday's docks around the corner of San Tails.
And the smell of the known and well-paddled-in sea full of drowned sailors and herrings.
And the caulking gunpowder spoke from the muffled string. Dylan, when you dropped the ice cream down your Aunt Alieri's back, was it strawberry or vanilla?
Vanilla, but her skin was whiter.
You're soft in her man, aren't you? I don't blame you. She gets a little sad looking sometimes.
She wears 2 poppies on Armistice Day because she lost 2 brothers in the Great War. I told her once when I grow up that I'd go to the war and find them for her.
Yeah, I remember grown-up saying an uncle went to the front and he never came back. So I went out to the front garden to look for him, but couldn't find him. Just look at the sun setting. Like a tomato.
Like a great big orange. like a goldfish bowl on a sandy bank. You know, I don't think anyone in the whole history of the world ever had a best friend as ugly as I do.
Yes, they have.
Who?
Me. But it better vanish, or I'll miss a Christmas cake.
Oh, come by after. See my bike.
Hello, you got a license for that bike, young man?
And then I climbed back up the desolate, poor sea-facing streets where only a few children fumbled with bare red fingers in the thick wheel-redded snow and catcalled after me. Their voices fading away as I trudged uphill into the cries of the dockbirds and the hooters of ships out in the white and whirling bay. At tea, the recovered uncles were jolly. The ice cake loomed in the center of the table like a marbled grave, and Auntie Hannah laced her tea with rum because it was only once a year. And everyone smiled and nodded and muttered how good the cake was, though they were only eating out of politeness and picked at it crumb by crumb. And the cups balanced on saucers, and the saucers balanced on knees, wobbled a little for lack of practice through all the long year of days that were not Christmas Day. And after tea, the best was still to come. Oh, bring out the tall tales now that we told by the fire as the gaslight bubbled like a diver, ghosts wooed like owls in the long nights when I dared not look over my shoulder for fear of seeing what might come out of the cubbyhole under the stairs where the gas meter ticked. And I loved my fear and was safe in the thrill of it and wanted more of it and more. Ghost stories! Ghost stories! We want ghost stories!
Oh no, ghost stories scare me.
I love the stories too.
Well, you're going to have to sing the Telltale song if you want ghost stories, Dylan.
Oh yes, the Tell-a-Tale song. I could start it anyway.
Yes, you start, Dylan. We'll follow along.
Go on, boy. We'll be right behind you.
Oh, tell a tale.
short, sharp one. You all know the old record at Rosewood, right? Well, I'll tell you. And this is true. Anytime, night or day, when you're walking down the corridors of that dismal house, you'll suddenly find yourself stepping into a pool of cold air. Just as you notice it, you'll hear a low voice in your ear saying, "Why don't you turn around and look at me?" Of course, no one has ever dared to turn.
I would.
No, you wouldn't, Dylan. Nor would I.
I wouldn't dare go in there.
Oh, I wouldn't either, Brenda. No, nor would I. Now, come on, Nellie. It is your turn.
Don't know any.
We'll tell about our Gran and the falling star.
But we never told anyone.
Oh, come on, Nellie.
Come on, Nellie.
Oh,
Please.
now, when our mother's mother was a girl, she was the housemaid to a rich family. The lady of the house worked her very hard and was always scolding her. One night, Gran was in her bed in the attic, crying her eyes out as usual, when she saw a star fall. Well, everybody knows that if you close your eyes and make a wish, and the star's still falling when you open them again, your wish will come true.
Women's tales.
Oh, you just listen, Glenn.
Well, Gran made a wish, and when she opened her eyes, not only was the star still falling, but it headed straight for her room window. And then it came in and hovered over the foot of her bed. She started screaming, "There's a star in my room!" Everybody rushed in, but could see nothing. Last to arrive was the lady of the house. "What's all this, little fool?" "There's a star in my room!" "Little liar!" Slap! And the star vanished. Gran left the house next morning and walked the 20 miles back to her own home. That same morning, the lady of the house took sick, and by nightfall, she was dead.
Is that what your Gran wished for?
Of course.
That's not very scary.
Oh, Gran was scared, all right. She was talking about it the day she died. She'd always been afraid the lady's ghost would come back to haunt her. One night, she thought she saw a table moving.
What? Never touched it.
Are there really things like ghosts?
Superstitious nonsense. All of it. Well, I once saw the headless hound at Pen per call. 2 o'clock in the morning. I threw a stone at it and it burst into flame.
Tudor, we've been married near 20 years, and you've never told me that.
You never asked me.
Oh, Bessie, Tudor just made it up this minute.
Oh, Nellie, true as I'm standing here, it's a well-known phenomenon.
Yeah, definitely. That would be one of the Untitled dogs. They hunt the souls of the dead in the air.
Well, how do they hunt if they don't have heads?
Well, it's the heads that do the hunting. You know, some foolish people mistake them for curlews. That's right. Similar sound, but the Untitled dogs, they hit a lower note. Well, you know the difference.
Oh, that's scary. Not scary enough. Let's have a story about dragons.
If dragons are so scary, then why does Wales have a dragon on its flag?
To frighten the English, of course. One day, we'll let loose our dragons on them and get rid of all the...
Right.
I was about to make a respectable political statement.
There is nothing respectable about their politics, and Christmas evening is no time for airing them. Now, why don't you do something useful for a change and tell us a ghost story?
How can I? I don't believe in ghosts. The man, he says, does not believe in ghosts, has no right to call himself a ghost. Tudor, don't you dare!
Now let's see what he believes after he hears about the soul of poor David Ellis.
Dylan, don't. DJ, stop him.
Well, how can I stop him, Falk, if he's already decided?
Go on, Dylan, and tell us.
I I was going to anyways, wasn't I? Now, before Cunduncan Drive was built, it was just deserted farmland here. And on the site of this very house was the ruins of a longhouse, one of those little one-man farms they used to have. And David Ellis was the last man to work it. He lived alone with just a few sheep and cattle. Couldn't read, of course, so the winter nights were long. One winter evening, when the wind was sighing in the shutters, he leaned into the flickering flames and said, "I would give my soul for someone to talk to." Over and over again he said, "Veron Heidenoid Veyanai, yes, I would even give my soul." Suddenly there was an icy blast, and the fire flared up, and the lantern swung violently on its hook. And an echoing voice was calling, "David." Terrified, the old man stood up and looked about him. He felt something touch him on his back. He turned around. Nothing there. He stumbled over to the door, but it wouldn't open, nor would the shutters. Trembling, he sank back down, and a voice whispered in his ear, "David, give me your soul." But David would not give up his soul. He made the sign of the cross, said the Lord's name, and died.
What was that voice?
It was the spirit of an evil ghost come to claim the soul of David, and it couldn't leave this place without it. The workmen who built Cunduncan Drive spoke of wheelbarrows turning over and emptying themselves, and caps snatched off and whirled into the clouds, and a voice crying on the wind, "David, David." And even today, on dark winter nights, when there are sensitive people about, things happen here.
What sort of things, Dylan?
Oh, that would be telling.
Dylan, really? I told you not to.
Very neat, Dylan. Very neat.
You made it, Uncle Glenn. You were scared for a moment, weren't you?
Scared?
Scared?
Oh, I was bloody paralyzed.
Yes, and now it is nearly bedtime.
Oh.
All right, we have to leave room for the sing-song.
Yes, sing song. But Aunt Ellie hasn't told a story yet.
I don't tell ghost stories, Dylan. Ghosts don't frighten me. They're my friends. But I do know a verse about a friendly ghost who is always with us at Christmas. My name is Taliesin, and my song is so perfect it will last till the world ends. I know well when the world ends. I have been there and back. I have been dead. I have been alive. I have kept festivals. I was once a seed of grain that was reaped. I fell to the ground and was swallowed by a hen. I was once a hen's egg, swept out to sea on a bed of rushes and swallowed by the red salmon. I have been the red salmon, leaping over the falls at Pistelquin, and I have kept festivals. I was once the otter, hunting the red salmon. I was once the hunter, trapping the napped otter. I was once the warrior, mocking the slow hunter. I have killed and been killed. Forgiven and been forgiven. Loved and been loved. Loved. My name is Taliesin, and I am at all of your festivals.
Oh,
Swansea heroes, men and women marked for fame. In a town where even villains get a legend to their name. Swansea heroes, whether known for good or ill.
Whether known for good or ill.
Holy Joe, the gospel preacher, made his pitch on Mumble's pier, promised hail, fire, and damnation to all sinners far and near. Terrified us, but we love to hear him preach.
But we love to hear him preach.
Crowds of folk came down from Ronda, special trains from Cardiff hailed, all to see the public hanging on the walls of Swansea jail. Zelafanta and Alette killed their shipmate and must die.
Killed their shipmate and must die. Remember too was Dick and Darren, martyr of a working class, hung because the miners' union met at Martha held the pass. Dick Penderyn, in your death you gave us life. In your death you gave us life.
Last offers for Thomas Bowler gave us Shakespeare pure as snow. Took old naughty words and thoughts that left in nothing coarse or low. Bowlerized him. Thomas Bowler cleansed the bar.
Cleanse the bar. Thomas Bowler cleansed the bar.
Everyone,
Let us sing of Swansea heroes, men and women marked for fame. In a town where even villains get a legend to their name. Swansea heroes, whether known for good or ill. Whether known for good or ill.
The holly and the ivy, now both are full well grown. All the trees within the wood, the holly bears the crown. Oh, the rising of the sun, and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry horns, singing in the choir. The holly bears a blossom as white as any flower, and Mary for sweet Jesus Christ to be our sweet Savior. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry horns, singing in the choir. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and Mary for sweet Jesus Christ to be our sweet Savior. Oh, the rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, singing in the choir.
Oh, look, the carol singers.
oh, Dylan, ask them in.
Oh, but it's just my friends. You know them, then ask them in.
Those boys are in my class. They're holy terrors.
Oh, good, we know them too. Dylan, ask them in.
A
was at the pantomime, sweet Mabel and I did meet. She was in the ballet front row, and I in the 5-shilling seat. She was dressed like a dicky bird, beautiful wings she had on, figure divine, wish she were mine, on her I was totally gone.
She was a dear little dicky bird, tweet, 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 she went. Sweetly she sang to me, till all of my money was spent. Then she went off song, we parted on fighting terms. She was one of the early birds, and I was one of the worms.
Full of love and poverty, and armed with a carving knife. One dark night I knelt in the mud and asked her to be my wife. Something hit me behind the ear. Somebody said, go and get a wife of your own, leave mine alone, and that was the last time we met.
She was a dear little dicky bird, tweet, 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 she went. Sweetly she sang to me, till all of my money was spent. Then she went off song, we parted on fighting terms. She was one of the early birds, and I was one of the worms.
Let's all calm down now. We have time for one more song, and then it is bedtime. Come on, Harry, let's have Colin Lawn.
Sing this.
I'm going but with voices I'll be never in mind. Going right and Callum happiness, Callum honest, Callum long.
Shining heart is full of goodness, purer than the lilies white. Shining heart is always singing all the day and all the night. Do not give me golden money or the stones from diamond mines, for I want the heart that's happy, honest heart, a heart that shines.
Callum long, I'm sure I will tear castle, Nelly knows. Demon Callum, Irish honey, Conir deep, Conir knows.
She was bitter for a moment, then are lost in endless night. But the pure and perfect heart shines with a warm, eternal light. Shining heart is full of goodness, purer than the lilies white. Shining heart is always singing all the day and all the night.
The air in the room was blue with cigars and silly with scent, heavy with Christmas meals and the lovely languor of satisfied dreams. The living room, the singing room, was gradually turning into the sleeping room. And so then I went to bed,
looking through my bedroom window out into the moonlight and the unending smoke-colored snow, I could see the lights in the windows of all the other houses on our hill, and hear the music rising from them of the long and steadily falling night. I turned the gas down. I got into bed. I said some words to the close and holy darkness, and then I slept.